Do you live in the US and want fast, fresh and tasty meals without the hassle of shopping or all that hard work preparation? Well, don't you worry, as a lazy man, I've got you covered. Try America's #1 meal kit service, HelloFresh, and get yourself fresh, pre-portioned ingredients delivered direct to your door. So why not eat well, stay healthy, and avoid the cost of regular takeout by trying HelloFresh? Just click the link in the description below for a special limited time discount and free shipping as well. Enjoy. Well, for most of this season at Distillery, a first Irish League title has seemed within our sights, but at the moment, the wobble is in full flow, and in a big game against Larne today, if we don't get the result, it could be out of sight. We need to find a response quickly. Let's go and see if we can get it. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 77 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today with Distillery for two huge games before the league split. A home to Crusaders, which should be a formality, but we've seen that that's not always the case this year. And then at home to Larne, who are 1 point behind us with a game in hand and a much better goal difference. That is the difference at the moment. Larne and Linfield are winning games by more, and this title race is very much a 3-horse battle at the top of the table. So if you're looking forward to it and seeing where we end up in this one, please do put a thumbs up on it. In addition to the two big games, we've also got a youth intake, and of course it is good job that we didn't come back for the Linfield game. Basically the Larne game was rescheduled about 4 times. It was due to be after Linfield and I was going to show them both, but Larne is now the more important of the two, and Linfield absolutely hammered us, so it's a good job we didn't watch that. But we start today with a youth intake, which is why I've come back a couple of days before kickoff. If we go and have a look at the screen, the message is waiting for us, and I tell you what, there's a little bit of excitement in the air, which we haven't said in the previous 8 years. If we head over to the inbox to find out why, this is the reason. We have got a young striker in our intake, which is average overall, who is 1.5-star ability and crucially 5-star potential. Now, when you consider that we've got the likes of Neil Kane, Morgan Griffiths, etc., this is no longer the side that we had a few years ago. If a player's got 5-star potential, we know they're good. What we need to have to back that up is a good personality and a striker, particularly the finishing attribute, because we know that's so often the problem. Let's just go and click on him and find out. He is the only one who's not Northern Irish, so good to see we're bringing in youth players from elsewhere. David Aitken is an Englishman. It's not the worst finishing attribute, and you know what? He's actually a pretty good player. Arguably suits the number 10 role a bit better. He is left-footed, he's fairly professional, he can do the job as a winger, a number 10 or a striker, but he is a bit more of a flair player, someone who likes to get in the hole, take long shots, got a good first touch, got good technical attributes. He is a bit of a gem. We are delighted to have him. So we'll get him signed up and involved in the first team squad. The first one I can genuinely see making the top with us. And then if we have a look a bit further down, there's an okay goalkeeper who, again, isn't the worst. But the only other one with 1.5-star current ability is Declan Gray, a number 10. 4-star potential too. Not bad, to be fair. Again, 6 foot. Key technical attributes are okay. It is by far the best intake we've had at this club. But to be fair, there's only one who's going to be a gem. What a shame the Icelandic player's not better. We could have done with that. But moving forward, you've seen the problems the last couple of summers. We've not had them homegrown players in the squad. I know a couple are starting to qualify now, but we can just add in a couple of youth intake players. It will definitely make a big difference. For now, though, we've got to get ahead to Wednesday's game. But before that, let me show you the fixtures and how we've been getting on. Because you were with me last as we won the Antrim Shield and then, of course, lost 2-0 at Coleraine. That was a disappointing day. We bounced back, though. A 2-0 win at Glentoran. Archie Whitehall and Jonathan McElhatton with the goals. A big win at home to Larne. Farmer and Griffiths with early goals. A grandstand finish. Not enough for the visitors, though. They did get revenge in the Irish Cup. A big win in that one. 4-2. We never looked in it. McElhatton and McCann getting a goal apiece. Then the result that has kicked us in the nuts, basically. A 1-1 draw at home to Dungannon against 10 men very late on as well. It was a game we absolutely dominated. I have no idea how we didn't win it. But a Robert Burns penalty in the end saved a point. Against Portadown, we nicked a 2-1 win with Varmont and Griffiths. We did have a few scares in the second half of that one, though. And then we were battered at Linfield. It was an even game, but they had 4 shots on target in the first half. They scored all of them. We gifted opportunities. We had a half-fit squad. It came back to cost us. Jonathan McElhatton got a goal, but it wasn't enough. A 4-1 defeat, and it's just kept Linfield in the title race. They're 8 behind with a game in hand. Linfield, of course, 1 behind with a game in hand. We play Larne twice before the end of the season. We'll play Linfield again after the split too. And of course, the two of them will face each other, so we might end up needing a favour from one or the other. But for now, let's get to Wednesday night. Crusaders is on paper a winnable game, but I would have said that against Dungannon. Let's go and see if we can get the job done. Back in a moment for the lineup. Well, here we go. The run-in begins with Distillery, and we've got some big positive news to start that off, and that is that Mark Wilson is back from injury and will be on the bench today. Gives us proper, genuine firepower up front. I still don't think Corey Craig has scored for us, to be fair. Crusaders at home is a match we should be winning. Larne are away to bottom half opposition. Linfield have got Dungannon, who tripped us up, of course. But let's go and see what changes we can make. We're going to go back to our first 11. Curtis Bell will come in. Walker played the last game. Mark Wilson will be on the bench after Craig was obviously ineligible against his parent club. Whitehall will come back in after struggling with fatigue, and McClelland will get himself back on the bench. He will also probably come in. Jake Cooper's had a couple of poor games, so I'm going to go for those two like that. The only real change in recent months is that Puarte is now first choice on the right. He's overtaken Pardy. The rest of the squad, no real surprises. McCann edging Bagley for a place on the bench these days, but it is Neil Kane in goal. Wilson and Bell the fullbacks, with Jones and McClelland at centre-half. Whitehall and Daniels the midfield two. Puarte and Varma the wingers. And Morgan Griffiths not quite refound his form yet, behind Jonathan McElhatton up front. He's starting to decline, so good to have competition back. Let's go and get into the first of the 2 games today. On paper, the one we shouldn't have to worry about. Let's go and see if we can find our form again, and hopefully Larne will slip up at Glenarvan. Well, 5 changes for our visitors, but the last games we all played were under loads of fixture congestion, so no surprises there. The one we've got to watch out for, who has given us trouble this year from Crusaders, is Sean Moore. We'll see if he's able to cause problems for us today. They've got Callum Marin at right back, who's a good player. Gareth Dean will now be an experienced keeper, but is good. And last time we were held by them, it was substitute Ian Walker who scored the penalty. Another one of our former Lone Stars from Linfield, and he came back to haunt us. So let's get through the tunnel interview. Most of the lads are motivated. It's a big Crusaders crowd in again, which definitely helps us financially. But into the first half we go. We have got to get this title sooner rather than later. Linfield and Larne both 1 up already. Linfield, in fact, got 2. So it looks like they're pushing on towards the business end of the season. And now we're going to be tested, because we've not been in this position before. As Puarte gets the ball on the right and loses it. It's not even the fact we haven't been in the title race before. It's the fact that we've not even been in the top 3 till last season. So being at the top and challenging is completely new to us. And we've struggled to break teams down at time. You can see Larne atop of the league at the minute. Linfield just 6 behind. We have got to find a way to win this. And we've not been at our flowing best this season. We've had a lot more injuries than any season before, which definitely contributes a bit. But we are not finding a target. We've not had strikers fit consistently. And we don't look like scoring early goals, as Wilson gets the ball to McClelland. I know there's a couple of things you guys have talked about in the comments. We will address them in the end of season review. But for now, I just want to get the win and not change too much, as Bell gives the ball away with a poor pass. Headed away to Jones. Norton clears it downfield. And this is going to be one of those long highlights, isn't it? Which end is the chance going to end up at? As Kane gets it out to Curtis Bell on the left. Look for that through ball, but goes to Varma. Daniels finds Bell again. He goes short to Jones. Back out to Bell. Where's the through ball? There it is. Running is McElhatton. Johnson clears. And it goes out to Moore on the left, our former player. Gets it inside to Kopak. Through ball. Lusty's in. He's 1-on-1. Was he onside? I hope not, because he's just put it in the back of the net. And it's going to be awarded. Smash and grab on the counter. We've been more vulnerable to that this season for sure. And now Crusaders have a free kick. They've got big men in the box. Jones heads away to Griffiths though. Now can we counter? Out to Puarte. 3-on-3. 3-on-2 now in fact. Puarte down the right. He's slowed up for some reason. Gets towards the byline. Into the box. Farmer's there. Oh my words. How has he missed that? It looked like a foul in the box anyway, but this is turning into a defining month. Larne 4 up. Linfield were 4 or 5 up as well. And we are now 1-0 down at home. We're chasing the game. We're playing more positively. Yeah, both of them are 4-0 up. This is the month it slips away, I think, because we look like the nerves are getting to us. I mean, Neil Kane has never made mistakes for this team. He's now out heading the ball in his own box. What's going on? McClellan finds Whitehall to Puarte. We need to be dug out the hole here. Hopefully Wilson comes back on fire when he comes off the bench, as Varma gets it on the left-hand side. He takes on his man, gets to the byline. Griffiths is in there, but it's a poor cross. And again, Varma's not been as creative this season. Those crosses not finding their destination. Whitehall to Puarte. He gets a header in. Johnson clears. And again, we're playing quicker. We're getting forward more. But that final product isn't there. Though Morgan Griffiths finds Puarte here. Beats the centre-half. That is a cracking finish. He's had so many assists this season, Puarte. But he has not scored a goal until now. That is the time to turn up with it, though. It is 1-1 and there's still 40 minutes left. It's not about the goal difference at this point. We have just got to stay a point clear. As we've got a throw on the left with Curtis Bell into Varma. Very attacking again. We've basically been camped in their final third since half-time. As Bell gets it again to Varma. 2 in the middle. Crosses to Griffiths. There we go. Lift off for Distillery. Puarte's down injured. That might be a problem. He looks in agony there. And I've got to say, it's one of the problems we've had this season. For all of the positives, there are a lot of injuries. So I'm not going to take any chances. He'll come off for Jaffet and Pardee. It's our best backup anyway. McElhatton's been pretty average for a few games now. So Wilson will get half an hour under his belt. And then in a holding role, I might leave it for now. Let's not change too much. We need to get this done. We need to get the result out the way. Then we can worry about changes. We've got a week off after anyway. There's no rush to save legs anymore. As McClellan finds Griffiths and Pardee. The sub switches out to Varma. Hopefully he's got a point to prove. Varma back to Curtis Bell. Into Daniels again to Varma. First half miss from him, not looking quite as bad now. It's cleared long to Jones, who finds Bell. He picks the ball up for Daniels, and again, just sitting on halfway, not rushing the ball forward. Whitehall with the through ball is poor, and it's cleared away by Kopak to Laughlin. Chipped away by Crusaders, but Wilson nicks it high. That's better. Out to Pardee on the right. Beats his man in one-on-one. Jaffet and Pardee straight at the keeper. Again, the finish is missing. We've got so much of the game right now. We've got a free kick on the left. We're rampant. Daniels crosses to Curtis Bell. Headed away to the edge for Varma. 2 men over on each side if he can find them. Just takes it himself instead. Plays it out to Daniels eventually. Back to Varma. Good 1-2. Crosses blocked and more clears away. Jaffet and Pardee starts again though. This is what we wanted to see. The confidence is back. And Varma can't quite get there. As Walker brings it out. We've been haunted by him before. Do not let him get a penalty. McClellan at the back with time. They're not really committing anyone forward yet. They look petrified of us at the minute. McClellan carries it over halfway to Whitehall. Back to Wilson, the right back, and Pardee. He's been good so far. 1-2 with Griffiths. Takes on his man towards the byline. Can he find the cross? Oh, it's a great ball. And Wilson's headed over from 4 yards. You can't miss those. How many great chances are we missing? Neither striker has really found the form of previous years. And this is a problem for us. We've not got that threat. As Daniels gives it to Griffiths, who loses possession. I just want a third before we make other subs. But now we're a threat of the counter. As they come down the right-hand side, Crusaders. Force back to Marin, the fullback. Big ball over the top towards Jones. Deal with it. Deal with it. Back to Kane. Big kick out on the left-hand side to Griffiths. He loses the ball to Marin and Walker. We're seeing a lot of this match. It's a through ball, but Kane will get there first. Not sure we needed to see all of that, but I'm not going to complain if we win the game. As here is Curtis Bell. A few more home fans in today as well, which we don't often get. But Bell picks the ball up, chips forward to Wilson, beats the defender, finds Griffiths, one-on-one, he's put it wide. These are the chances that we've been scoring for fun the last few years, and at the moment, they're all going begging. We're going to take Daniels off for Burns, who's had an average game. I'm looking at the back. Can we do anything there? Probably not at the moment, so we'll leave it at 3. We've got 2 more changes, but only 1 more sub break to make them, as Curtis Bell has it on the left. Dungannon do get 1 back against Linfield, but still 5-1 down. The other 2 definitely improving their goal difference, as Varma. Cross to Griffiths. Good save, Gareth Dean. Corner kick. The change will be made. There are 15 minutes to go. It's still more tense than I like. I want to get a third, make sure it's done. And at the moment, that doesn't seem to be forthcoming. There's 5 minutes remaining. McClelland is knackered. He will come off and be replaced by Kean at centre-half. And then I'm also going to bring on I think Scott for Varma because he's struggling more physically of the two. 5 changes made, 5 minutes to go. Look at the stats again. It should be more than 2-1. We've not taken our chances, but crucially, we've picked up the 3 points. It is Distillery winning by a goal. We're losing our goal scoring threat, but we're still in the title race. The big one is coming up next though. Larne currently go 2 clear if they win their game in hand. If we win the next one though, the title race is back in our destiny. Well, here it is then. Likely a title decider after a very frustrating week. Larne are now top of the division and we have to win this game if we want to topple them. Linfield are hot on our tails and have a winnable game at Portadown. And even more annoying, you know I was trying to sign that trialist a couple of episodes ago, Lee O'Neill. I had him on trial for 2 months. I tried to sign him 3 times. He rejected us because he wanted more than £500 a week, which is our top paid player. He's now just retired, a day after rejecting us again. So infuriating, it does my head in FM. Surely he'd rather play here for what, £2 a month, nearly 30 grand a year, rather than retire completely. But it's not to be. So we play Larne, 1 player down on what we would have liked to have had. But we have managed to get our new youth superstar tied down. David Aitken is in the first team squad. But he is not going to be involved in this fixture. For this one, we are going to go big call for Mark Wilson up front. Jonathan McElhatton will get a talking to, although he has scored in his last 5 games, so I probably can't. The rest of the team picks itself. We played really well last time, so there's no need for us to change anything. I could bring the experience of Cooper in. I could make changes in midfield, but for now, I think we're going to stick with that. So just Wilson in for McElhatton up front. The rest of the squad is the same. And if we don't win this game, the title is in Larne's hands. The league split will follow this fixture. Let's see if we can start it at the top of the table. Well, it's 7 changes for Larne, who obviously got a win in midweek with a backup team because Stretton and McKinnon are back in. McDonnell has caused us problems in recent fixtures, and Bobby Harvey, the star of our first season, is still in their team on the right-hand side. But let's go and get through to the first half. It could be a very frustrating year. We toppled Larne last season. It looks like we're going to topple Linfield this one. We still could end up second each year because we can't do them both at once. Larne, another club that bar the European fixtures haven't picked up a big following. They did lose both games in their playoff round of the Europa Conference. They played a good Portuguese side. I think it was Vitória Guimarães. But unfortunately, it is still 0-0 here. And that means Larne will be in control of their destiny. Of course, we will play them in Linfield again after the split. But I'd quite like to be top for that as Whitehall keeps the ball in midfield in spite of challenges to Puarte. And Griffiths, good through ball. Wilson's in, back in the team, but not back in form. Tip wide of the post. Again, that finishing touch has just not been there this year. McElhatton scored goals for fun last season. Wilson at the start of this, but at the moment, neither of them's in form. We are definitely finding that as a problem. As Varma picks it up from the corner headed away. Finds Daniels, who gets it back to McClellan and Wilson. Keeps it nicely, but nothing doing. Larne sitting behind the ball. They're happy with a point here, and I can see why. Linfield are 3 up on the other hand. And this would be the worst result possible because it turns it back to a 3-horse title race. As it stands, as you can see from the table there, all 3 of us would be within 5 points. And with the 3 of us having to play each other again after the split, that basically means nothing. As Smith finds Robinson at the back to Harvey. He gets it into Donaldson. Was it last year? No, the year before, where Larne had the lead and Linfield snatched it at the end. Could it be the same again this time around as McDonnell? The worst thing for us would be if we end up in 3rd, because then don't even get in the SPFL Trust Trophy. Larne have their first shot of the match. It's a cagey game, but these are one of the 2 sides we can't come out against. If we do, we'll get picked off on the counter. Free kick on the right-hand side for Sean Daniels. Nearly an hour gone. Penalty given, though, out of nothing. Handball against Owen Smith, and Sean Daniels has got the chance from the spot here to put us ahead. This is massive. Sean Daniels up into the bottom corner-ish. Wasn't quite in the corner, but it beat the keeper. Frankly, I don't care. It's in the back of the net. Lisburn Distillery 1, Larne 0. And we are now top of the division. This is looking an awful lot better. What can we do to keep our lead? Wilson will have to come off in a minute. He can't do 90. Varma's struggling physically again. And then the congestion's going to start, isn't it? So what on earth do we do? Smith goes with the long diagonal ball. Don't rule out Larne yet as Kane flies out of his goal. Gets there in the end. Does well enough. Has time on the ball and I'm sure will not be in a rush here. Rolls out to Callum Wilson and McClelland. into Whitehall, wide to Puarte. He's had another decent game, but what can he do now? Inside to Whitehall with a nice flick. He's got Daniels in support. Goes back instead to his centre-half, McClelland. And again, we're just comfortable in possession here. We are in a very good position when we're 1-0 up because we keep the ball well. As Wilson finds Whitehall. Puarte's making a run. It's a brilliant run. He's in. He shoots. It's saved. And he's not a prolific goal scorer for whatever else he is. And as a result, it remains just 1. 15 odd minutes to go. We're going to make the changes. Both wingers and the centre forward will come off now. So McElhatton and Pardee and Lewis Scott will be the 3 on. Jones has had an awful game at centre half. So Jake Cooper brings on all of his experience and will save the last one in case of an emergency. Don't want to end up down to 10. With 15 to go, we are about to pull off a crucial win. Or are we? Because here come Larne. On the left with Donaldson. Cross into the Vine. Header hits the bar. Kane in no man's land. But it drops down to him in the end. We are clinging on for dear life. They've still not had a shot on target. And on the expected goals, we are dominant. But that is largely due to a penalty kick as Harvey gives it to Mabin and Donald. Big switch to O'Kane. They're getting there first now. They're pushing forward. But Daniels gets there as Scott wins it back. Griffiths chips up to McElhatton. He's got to score. Find your form, please. Jonathan McElhatton. There we go. Morgan Griffiths delivers one of those passes we've not seen for a while. And Jonathan McElhatton finally turns up with some composure. And with 5 minutes to go, it is 2-0 to Distillery. And we are top of the league into the split. Oh, what a way to bounce back. What do we do in midfield? I'm going to take off. In an ideal world, it would be Curtis Bell, but I don't have a left back. So it's going to be Kean for Carl McClelland, who's not had a great game. The 2 centre-halves will come off. We'll get the bigger men on. And no shots on target for Larne. A really defensive display from them. But crucially, we are back at the top of the table. It's not over. We've got to play both of those sides again. Linfield definitely keeping the pressure on. With 5 games to go, we are top of the league. And we've got a chance, if nothing else. Let's go and see how the fixtures split. And then when we're going to be back. Well, it looks like the fixture list is not our friend. Because the final 3 games of the season are Linfield and Larne away, with Glentoran at home in the middle. So it might be a triple header next time. We'll see how we are after the first 2 matches. But I've got a feeling we're going to come back for nothing other than football. And those 3 games will be the centrepiece. Are we going to be in the title race come the final day? Can we pip Larne to the post? Will that be the decisive match? If you're looking forward to finding out and you did enjoy this one, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know, get your predictions in now. Do you think we'll win it? And do you think it will go to that final day against Larne? What do you think of the young youth star as well, who looks an absolute gem? And have you had the same frustration? Lee O'Neill retiring when we've been trying to sign him for months. If you're looking forward to the next one, I'm sure it's going to be the one of the series so far. Then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in 2 days' time for it. But in the meantime, the head coach will be back tomorrow in a very eventful start to the season in that one. You can find it up in the eye above. There's also links there to the football podcast, the Twitch channel, and of course the blog story too. But thank you very much for watching. If you're in the US, do check out the HelloFresh link in the description. Get your money off and help support the channel too. 3 games to decide the league title. Will it be us, Larne or Linfield? See you next time to find out.